On today's marketing update, the fabulous Jeanne Hopkins.
Everything marketers need to know about SOPA.
How a 9-year-old newsjacked the GOP primary.
7 signs that your mobile marketing sucks.
And I love Walgreens. Stay tuned for all that and more. Hi, welcome to the Marketing Update. It's January 13th, 2012, and we're coming to you live from Cambridge, Massachusetts. I'm Karen Rubin.
I'm Mike Volpe, and we're joined today with our special guest, Jeanne Hopkins.
Thanks for being here.
Those of you that want to
Cheers for
join the show and interact with us, MKTG Up is the hashtag. Use that. We will incorporate your tweets into the show.
iTunes for all the old shows,
5-star reviews.
And you can always come and watch the show live. We have a great audience today with a whole bunch of HubSpot customers. We love our HubSpot customers. Yay! So it's a fun day here. And I think that's it, right?
We're good to go. We're in fast mode on this show. So, Jeanne.
Thank you for joining us,
Welcome.
Jeanne.
Well, I had to write a freaking book in order to get on the show. I mean, geez.
And you made cookies today, too.
I made cookies.
That's
Yeah.
actually what I'm going to start telling HubSpotters when they tell me they want to get on the show. Write a book.
And
Write a book and you can be on.
And make cookies, Karen.
Oh, sorry.
You're missing the cookies.
And make cookies. That gets you on the show.
Yes.
So your new book, Go Mobile, out last week, right?
This week,
This
actually,
week.
Wednesday.
Very good. Out only 3 days.
But only 3 days. It's a baby.
It's
Well,
a baby.
and for people who don't, like, we just sort of glossed over.
We did.
Jeanne is a HubSpotter. Jeanne is VP of Marketing here at HubSpot. She's been in marketing for over 2 years now?
Yes.
I think 2 years,
Yes,
yeah. And
Well,
She's
not
the
just
real deal.
in marketing, but I mean, in marketing, you could say a
Well-
couple of decades. But
well, right. No, but
here,
at HubSpot in marketing, right.
It's a little over
right.
2
So,
years.
you know, if you're a marketer, you probably know what a marketing persona is. And at HubSpot, our marketing persona is called Mary. And Jeanne is Mary at HubSpot. It used to be Mike, but he's not anymore because he's a CMO. He got all big and everything. But Jeanne's Mary.
Well, actually, as far as a Mary, I think the salespeople call me the scary Mary. I'm the Mary you don't want to get on the phone.
That's awesome. So, tell me about your book, Go Mobile. Why should people go mobile?
Well, it's this book is really just a simple, very step-by-step on how to get into mobile marketing quickly and easily. That's all it is. It's do this, don't do that. Very, very simple, because a lot of the mobile marketing books that are out there are very technology-oriented.
Yeah.
And
It's scary when you get into all the nitty-gritty of it.
Yeah. You've done that with apps and stuff.
Totally.
You know? Yeah, so that's the challenge. We tried to make it very simple for a small and medium-sized business, our customer, to be able to get into mobile easily.
Nice, excellent. And so, like, what are the why should we've talked about it on the show before, but let's rehash. Why should someone care about going mobile? Like, why do they want to do this?
Well, everybody has a phone, right? How many people in here have a smartphone? They're all up. Everybody's raising them, right? Everybody has a smartphone. Do you look at your email on your phone?
Yes.
Do you go to your social networks on your phone? Yes. What do you do on your phone? Oh, everything. You buy on your phone, you use it for QR codes, you take pictures, you do everything on your phone. And the average marketing person, what are you doing, Brian, on your phone right now? You're doing something.
Twitter.
Right. He's doing Twitter, and everybody uses their phones. And this is why you have to think about, this is the computer. This is your desktop right now that's in your hand. It goes everywhere with you. It goes to your restaurant. It goes to, I don't know, there's some studies that show that people actually check their email in the bathroom. So there's a guy, he checks his email in the bathroom, so, you know.
And isn't afraid to admit it.
Yay. But the thing is that you bring it with you everywhere, and you hope it doesn't fall into the toilet bowl.
Yes. You do hope that. So, you know, is mobile just for B2C companies? Is it mostly about finding restaurants and mostly about finding things you're going to shop for in a store? Or is it about more than just B2C?
It is, because when you look at 90% of C-level people like Mike, are all have smartphones. And what do? They do all their research on their phone. And so when you're a B2B customer, I just actually spoke to a group last week down in North Carolina, and the people that were sitting in the front row went to the C-level people. They were when I was talking about HubSpot and how we're a software company, those guys in the front were searching up HubSpot, and up pops our homepage, and they were looking at us. They were looking at the things that we had, and I was actually able to point out how many of you in the front row actually just looked up HubSpot on your phone, and they all raised their hands, and that's what happens.
And the interesting, I'll back that up with, so we have this What is HubSpot video on our homepage.
Yes.
That is, it's on YouTube, and we embed it in our homepage. And one of the top 5 sources of traffic to that video is actually mobile devices.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it's because it's on our homepage. I think so many people are like, you're talking about HubSpot, whatever, and they're like, oh, well, what is this thing?
Right.
And like, oh, well, let me watch the video. And like, you just watch the video right there on your phone.
Yeah, you're consuming content on your phone or another device like an iPad or something like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So who's doing it well? Give me an example of a company that really gets the whole mobile game.
Well, the American Red Cross actually has done a good job with it. I actually just got a text message after the earthquake that happened a couple of years ago in Haiti. You were able to donate $10 by just texting back, and they were able to raise millions of dollars that way. And I just got an email from them couple of days ago on the 2nd anniversary of the earthquake as a reminder of how many people were helped. It was 1.6 million people were helped by those donations. So it was a nice way to be able to follow up on your donation. It was a great way to be able to collect. And people, you didn't have to go to a website.
Right.
You didn't have to go to a website and put in all the information. You just clicked and $10 went in order to be able to help them out. Another one is Domino's. I mean, Domino's has a mobile app that they've actually been able to generate millions of dollars from. That very simple, that they just use it and they've generated millions of dollars because people are ordering their Domino's pizzas on their phone.
That's
Very
excellent.
simple.
That is excellent. I would order a pizza on my phone.
A Domino's pizza?
No, I wouldn't order a Domino's pizza, but I would order a pizza.
So during the era of cell phones, but before the era of smartphones, my roommate right after college used to program into his phone just pizza and a number, and that's like the number that he would call at like 2 in the morning. And he would just like, because he couldn't remember the name of the place or whatever, but it was like pizza. And that's like as much as he could figure out at that point, but it's like, knew he wanted pizza, and he would just call the number. This is like, they've taken it, Domino's has taken it to the next level.
They have.
That's awesome.
But it probably, I bet it has like buttons, like what are your toppings and what size and how many,
Yes.
and that might
Slide
be too
them
hard.
over.
But
Yeah.
they,
Well, there's another app called Grubhub, which I've actually used a fair amount because I hate talking to humans on the phone. And I always feel like every time you call to get takeout or delivery, they always screw something up. Whereas if I can type in my own order, I feel
That's
like the
true.
accuracy is higher.
That's true.
And they have tons of restaurants all over the place. And they do, it's good. And you can actually program in your credit card and just automatically bills everything, and like you're done. It's great.
what they really need to do is they need the like quick order button that's for when you're drunk. You go to
Yes.
the app and you're just
Yeah.
like, I want that.
Right,
So you don't have to
right,
think about it.
right. Brought someone home, didn't bring someone home. Like what? You're right. A couple options, but then like yeah.
God, he's getting risque.
We should start this company.
Right.
This is fabulous.
We should.
Make millions.
We should. Yes.
There you go,
Yes.
new app.
All right.
Yeah. What else do you want us to deliver aside for the food? Like, yeah. Could be lots of things. Based on your preferences, Karen, it'd be personalized.
Like the things I could say right now and I am holding back. So Jeanne, I'll tell you them all after. So look, just how should someone get started? What are the first couple of steps?
Well, you need a mobile website.
Yeah.
This is, for the very first thing I would do is take your smartphone or take your iPad device and actually look up your website. And if you end up having to scroll over to be able to see your website or scroll down in order to read it, and you're not like pinching and releasing in order to take a look at your particular website, that's what you need to do. Now, if you're a HubSpot customer, like many of the people in the audience right now are, you are mobile optimized because that's something awesome about HubSpot. So,
VP of marketing.
the other thing I would do is also make sure I would use website or Marketing Grader.
Yeah.
The Marketing Grader tool has a great section on if you're mobile optimized, and some of the data that you presented recently shows that the number one thing that people wanted to learn about was 301 redirects. Number 2 and number 3 were mobile questions. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you are mobile optimized at the very bare minimum. People get all hung up on, I want to be an app, I want to get an app, and their website sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
first step is there.
Give me the book. All right, so go mobile. Jeanne
I
Hopkins.
thought you were going to point out where your name was.
No, I wasn't. And Jamie Turner. And I just want to sort of close down this and go with Jamie Turner just tweeted saying, watching my co-author, Jeanne Hopkins, on HubSpot TV right now. Check it out here with a link.
Right.
So there we go. So thanks for your
Buy
support,
the book.
Jamie.
It's on Amazon.com. It's on Books A Million, Barnes
Yep.
and Noble. It's an awesome book.
You can get an electronic version for your mobile device too.
Yes,
course.
$9.99.
I don't
Yep.
think I've ever met Jamie, but I've got very high opinions of him because he sent you a dozen yellow roses, and they
Yes,
were beautiful.
he did.
And you weren't here, so we all enjoyed them when they came.
Laura took a picture and shared.
sent it to
There you
That's
go.
good.
Nice.
The rest
Nice.
of us were all just.
And we also have, speaking of mobile, we have a customer, Dan Moyle, who's here, who said at Marketing Up Live
With a picture.
With a picture
Live
from
tweeting from
mobile
the audience.
device.
Good
There
stuff.
you go. Awesome.
All right.
All
So
right.
diving into the headlines.
So headlines.
The first one is one that I was actually pretty excited about. Everything marketers need to know about SOPA.
Yeah.
And so I actually.
So what is SOPA, Karen?
So SOPA is the Stop Online Piracy Act.
Yes.
And it's a bill that was introduced to Congress in October.
Yes.
And basically, it's about giving U.S. law enforcement officials the ability to really crack down on people who are, stealing copyrighted intellectual property online. And so that all sounds fine and dandy and everything, but it's got some problems with it. Like, it's a kind of a scary. It's a scary piece of legislation for a lot of people. It seems okay. Obviously, the music and the media industry are really excited about this.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, the issue is there's already laws about, piracy is illegal, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is taking that a step further and making it easier for people to enforce that.
Right.
The problem is it could potentially, depending on exactly what happens and like the details and all that, it could have a really broad net, meaning that if somebody posted something to your website because through user-generated content that was an illegal piece of piracy, they could potentially entirely shut down your entire website.
Right.
Just
I
like
think
one button, like, doop, like, sorry, your company doesn't exist on the internet anymore.
So, for example,
right?
the
It's a
comments
little
in your
scary.
blog,
Yep.
somebody takes
Maybe.
a piece of copyrighted comment and sticks it in there,
Music lyrics or something, yeah.
which makes things like YouTube, Facebook,
Yeah.
Google Plus impossible to be
Right.
alive. Like all those social networks and everything we use in marketing goes away.
Yep.
That's scary. I think the other thing that's really scary about this is that it's really unclear how it gets prosecuted and enforced. The way it's written, it almost seems like if I think Mike's got some copyrighted content on his website in any form, I go online and I put something in or I call someone up and his site gets shut down
Yeah.
before they determine if he's actually got copyrighted content on there. That the first step is to shut down the website and the second step is to ask questions, which makes it really easy for you to sabotage someone's business.
Well, and it's like, and who determines that, right? It's not like there's some trial and some process and they determine whatever. It's just like, well, some agency decides, like, oh, whatever. So it's just a little scary.
Yeah.
But so what's the relevance for marketers here?
Well, the relevance is kind of how this can impact you and paying attention to pirated content on your website. And, I mean, paying attention to this legislation because of how it could impact your business if it goes through the way that it stands today. Right? Marketing takeaway.
That's it?
That was it.
Fantastic.
All right.
All right, now, how a 9-year-old newsjacked the GOP primary.
This is our daily political update or weekly political update from the Marketing Update.
Yes, although this is,
This is really not about the politics per se, sort of. Journalist Darren Garnick wanted to teach his 9-year-old son Ari about what's going on in politics, about the primaries. He thought that'd be cool. So they live in New Hampshire, followed around all the different candidates as they were coming to New Hampshire, and the son asked them the question, if you could be any superhero, who would you be and why? And they recorded it. They videotaped it, and then they put it all together in a little video and put it online. And Darren is a journalist, so he wrote about it on, I think it was Atlantic.
I think it was the Slate.
I did
Slate
put
magazine.
it in here somewhere.
I think it was Slate. Slate.
Yes, okay. No, it was the Atlantic. You're
Was
wrong.
it?
It was the Atlantic.
All right, he writes a lot for Slate too.
And their video's now got 11,000 views, and it's been on CNN and Fox News and the Washington Post and USA Today and
Yeah, his
National
9-year-old
Geographic
son was
Kids.
on CNN. It's
It's
pretty
awesome,
cool.
and he got interviewed by all these people, and it's very cool. And there was just a whole bunch of neat stuff about it.
Yeah.
What else do you want to say about it?
You gonna tell them the neat stuff about it? Like what?
I was kind of letting someone else talk because, well, I like to think of this as the Karen show. We
Well-
have two brilliant marketers on that could talk about this.
So the interesting part is like most of the candidates I think were it was kind of a surprise question. Like they don't get asked that every day. So
is
most of them chose Superman, which is sort of like the default. Like, well, if you had to be a superhero, like what would
Except
you pick?
interestingly
Whatever.
enough, Superman this year decided he no longer wants to be an American citizen.
Where did that come from?
Ilya Merman told me.
Okay.
Ellie's uncle told me that it was in the article on our blog.
Okay.
Apparently Superman renounced his American citizenship this year in one of the
Marvel Comics now?
I'm not sure. And so they should have gone with something like Captain America.
Yeah. Okay. we'll have our interns do a fact check on that one right now. But really, I mean, the whole point here is sort of like when you're being asked questions and interviewed or things like that. It's always like, you know, the acronym Ilya used was ATM, which is answer quickly and directly, like answer the question, and then transition to your message, right? And so one that was interesting about like you know, Ron Paul was sort of like, got asked, the 9-year-old asked him a question, he's like, I don't know. And he kind of like turned away and sort of like did whatever. You're just like, okay, that's kind of weak. Whereas Rick Santorum was actually pretty sharp, and he picked the superhero was the dad on The Incredibles, which is cool. Like kind of a cool, interesting thing. Like,
it made me
but then he talked
like,
about how important his family was, and a family is an important part of his
so
campaign.
on message.
Right.
It was so on message. It made him seem like such a robot. Sorry.
I don't know. The fact that he didn't just pick Superman, which everyone else picked, he's like actually like had seen The Incredibles, like, you know.
I get it.
I bet you Mitt Romney hasn't, right?
One guy couldn't like get off message long enough to have a little fun, and the rest of them don't know anything about superheroes because they haven't like watched TV in 27 years. Like,
all right. But in any event, so sort of an interesting thing here.
Who would you be as a superhero? I want to know, what would you pick?
That's a good one, but it would definitely be Wonder Woman because she had the like wristbands. Yeah, the bracelets, which were awesome.
Right,
and the lasso of truth, right?
Yes.
You ride it around people that have to tell the truth, right?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
what
cool.
would you be?
You know, I was never a big like comic book
superhero
guy. Yeah, no. So actually, in the video, what's the son's name? Darren's son's name. Yeah, Ari. Yeah, he said Batman because of the gadgets.
Yeah.
And I actually do think that Batman had way cooler gadgets than most of them, and I'm kind of a gadget guy.
What about you, Jeanne?
Underdog. Because I want to fly.
Yeah. Yes. Good sense of humor, too. I like Underdog. Awesome. So what's the marketing takeaway here?
Marketing takeaway here is what Ari and Darren did really well was they kind of took a fun or different angle on what was a big news story, and it helped them rise to the top. They rose above the noise because they did something different.
Right? Yeah. Totally. There
Talked
you go.
about that before.
Awesome. So Jamie Turner, co-author, just tweeted in that who knew that Volpe had just a good sense of humor? LOL, you guys are rocking. I'm not sure I don't know. This maybe something.
I think it's supposed to be such. He's on his mobile device and it autocorrected.
Autocorrect. Yeah. We'll submit that to the all the different autocorrect websites. But yeah.
All right.
7 signs your mobile marketing sucks.
All right. So Jeanne is a Jeanne Hopkins blog post on the HubSpot blog.
Right.
Some signs that your mobile marketing sucks. Some of our favorites. You're looking at the wrong metrics. So let's talk about a little bit about that. Your mobile marketing sucks, and it's because you're not measuring it right.
Well, you don't know if you even are getting any access, if anybody is coming to your website from a mobile device. I know Brian Wally, hi Brian, he takes a look, and we look at Google Analytics frequently, and we try to see how many devices are accessing our blog and are accessing our website to find out, is it increasing? And it's been steadily increasing, and that was one of the reasons that we felt that this book was important.
Yep.
So you need to take a look at who is accessing your site, and if it's growing, and are you able to actually deliver the right kind of content for this small screen?
Yeah.
I mean, that's something you need to take a look at.
It's teeny tiny.
Teeny tiny.
The other one has to do with your team getting it.
Yeah.
How do you help your team get it, and what does it mean if they don't?
Well, you know, when I first joined HubSpot a couple of years ago, I worked with Ellie on the same Scrum team, and I know Ellie remembers, like we would talk about, we need to talk more about mobile marketing, right? And we would try to like come up with ideas to be able to talk about mobile marketing internally, because it's one of those things that is going to hit people all of a sudden. They're going to go, oh my goodness, I should be thinking about mobile marketing and trying to take advantage and take a look at what's happening in the marketplace. And when you look at all the business startups that are happening, where are those startups happening? Everything wants to be able to be accessed on a mobile phone. And we do have a lot of customers that are mobile, and we need to look at it. But many marketers are very comfortable in their own little world, their world of email, but they don't realize that people are reading their email on the phone. Mm-hmm. And you need to think about, is your email optimized? Which it is if you buy HubSpot. So think about it.
Great. And the last one has to do again with your website being mobile optimized.
Right, and the thing that I recommend is you want to make sure that there's more than 1 million apps out there. You want to make sure that you're not just thinking about an app. And with 1 million apps and how many billions of downloads people download, they don't use it. Or, I mean, think about it. How many people have downloaded an app, spent 99 cents, a couple of bucks, they've used it. Oh, look at all these heads nodding. You've used it once, and then you never use it again. And then you actually take it off of your desktop on your phone, and then that's the end of it. And So you want to make sure that your website is optimized for mobile.
And I have apps that I've downloaded that are still on my phone,
Yep.
and I go to the website to do what I need to do.
Gosh!
Amazon's a perfect example. I struggle with Amazon's mobile app all the time. It's on my phone, but when I want to buy something on Amazon on my mobile phone, I still go to Amazon.com and Safari, and I do it there. And their website is mobily optimized, which is one of the reasons it's easier to use in the app.
Right.
So it works out great.
I downloaded the I Am T-Pain app when that came out. Used it for about 5 minutes. Haven't used it since.
Oh no.
It allowed you to like auto-tune your own voice. It seemed like a good idea, and it just wasn't. And RepCore's laughing at me now. What's the marketing takeaway here?
Marketing takeaway is desktop marketing and mobile marketing serve similar purposes, but each require a different approach based on how your customers use them.
There you go.
So think about it.
All right, next up we have hashtag I love Walgreens.
This one comes from our very own RepCore, and I know she's very excited about us covering it. Basically, Walgreens decided to pay for their hashtag I love Walgreens to be promoted.
I can only imagine.
I don't think we can say how much. I think we have some idea how much. I don't think we're allowed to say how much, but it is big money to get a sponsored hashtag, like a trending topic.
This means like
Big money.
Consistently. I mean,
Big
that's
money.
got to be a
All
lot
day.
of money.
Big money.
All the, they
One
show you
full
your
day.
trending topics. There's just right at the top, and it says
It
promoted.
says it's promoted.
Because there's
I love
nothing like-
Walgreens.
Yeah.
So what do you think people would tweet when you're like, I love Walgreens?
Well, some of the examples are
Give us some examples. Karen.
hashtag
Sing 'em.
I love Walgreens because it's a pharmacy where you can buy sweatpants and vodka. I love
That one's
Walgreens.
actually more positive than the rest of them.
I love Walgreens because I know I can always find the ingredients to make meth there.
Again, both of those have to do with things that you can purchase.
Drop off a prescription, get told to wait an hour, come back 2 hours later, and it's still not filled. I love Walgreens. Oh, nice. I love Walgreens because they've got the best deals on Magnums. I love Walgreens is promoted. I feel like they're trying to Jedi mind trick us into loving Walgreens. So far, the force is not strong in them. So Walgreens had to pay Twitter to get I love Walgreens to trend, like a sad teenager mailing himself love letters without sincerity. And I know.
That one's
okay,
kind of up
all for the teenager, not for Walgreens. But I actually think that's kind of the heart of the story. The reason this is blowing up and people are saying all these, using it in this way is because it's not sincere.
And this is why most of the sponsored, trending topics, sponsored hashtags are not about the brand directly, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's like Subway did one about football games or playoff games or something like that. So you try to find something else to like have a conversation that has something to do with your company and your brand, because the Twitter audience can be a little bit brutal sometimes and a little harsh.
think?
Yes. And many of these I think are somewhat humorous. But it's
Yeah.
not. I'm sure the brand manager at Walgreens is probably taking a fair amount of flack right now.
Well, and I think what they were actually doing, like I got some sense of they were trying to promote this thing about it being like, love your pharmacist today. And they should have done, I love my pharmacist.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And then, or something.
That would be a PR nightmare. Yeah, but no.
something that wasn't about Walgreens, and they would have done a lot better. But the fact that it was I love Walgreens and they were promoting it, it came across as not very authentic.
They're really working on their online presence. They actually have an app that you can, they have an app, they clearly are going into the mobile space and they're trying to like butt out all the other competitors in that particular area. It's just a little misguided.
Yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't a bad idea. It's just, I think that the execution in terms of the selection of the words, they didn't newsjack it. They could have done something much cooler.
They could
Yeah.
have.
It's interesting because I feel like for something like this, if you have to pay for it, you probably don't deserve it,
Right.
and that means that you don't have enough
point.
support for it to actually go well.
Right.
Right.
And versus like, Apple, who would never pay for it because they're a trending topic like
Right.
every time they launch a new product,
Right.
right?
Right.
But they also, like, the reason that they don't have to pay for it is because they earn it, and it's sort of like this weird, interesting thing. So it's like, I think you need to be careful with that type of thing.
Right.
So the marketing takeaway here is that authenticity matters. Don't be the sad teenager and mail yourself love letters. It just doesn't go over big with the crowd.
Yep. And actually on this, I guess this is from Dan because he didn't mention who it was from, but right now the trending topic is Kenmore Square, but it's a Dunkin' Donuts contest with a Bruins player at the Dunkin' Donuts there.
Oh, how cool.
So that's
But
sort of
they
interesting.
didn't, the Dunkin' Donuts
But it
isn't
wasn't
in
like
the
I love
hashtag.
Dunkin' Donuts, exactly.
It's
yeah.
Kenmore
So,
Square.
interesting.
That's great stuff.
Yep, awesome.
So-
So, marketing tip of the week.
Jeanne, what's the marketing tip of the week?
Use Marketing Grader. Use Marketing Grader in order to find out if your website is mobile optimized, and if yeah,
I like Website Grader.
Marketing Grader.
Okay, I like that one too. I like Marketing Grader.
Yay! And you like Marketing Update.
I do like Marketing
Okay,
Update.
so use Marketing Grader. Sorry.
What are you doing this weekend?
Me?
Either of you, but you can start. Karen always likes to go last.
Okay. My daughters ride horses, and we are going to Johnson & Wales Equine Center to look at them doing a dressage lesson, which is like dancing with horses. So,
We had a
weird.
long discussion before the show about what this means. Apparently they walk sideways.
Yes.
Have you ever seen a horse walk sideways?
No.
Not on purpose.
See?
Does he ever want to? That would be no.
I don't. I haven't.
Say hi to your parents.
Hi, Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, what are you up to this weekend?
Unpacking boxes, watching.
Are you in the
Pats
new
game.
house yet?
We are now finally in the new house.
Yay!
Yeah, thank you.
Toilets
We
and showers installed.
Yes, but not in the same bathroom. So you have to use the toilet one place and shower in a different bathroom. Literally, it's like there's like two bathrooms. You got to go between the two. It's very weird. But today that problem should have been rectified. So we'll find out when I get home tonight.
Wonderful.
Which is fantastic. So yes.
I'm heading up to New Hampshire for the 3-day weekend. It is going to be minus 20 degrees tonight.
Is that all?
Is it really?
Yeah.
What's the wind chill?
Oh, it was like minus 34 or something
my gosh.
ridiculous like that. Like it's freezing up there. But they got snow this week, and in theory, the cross-country ski trails are open. So tomorrow, when it's 7 degrees, I'll be out there hitting up the cross-country ski trails.
3-day weekend for your husband, but not for you.
Oh
But
no,
you're
I
making
took
it
Monday
3
off.
days.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that, boss.
Thanks,
See you later.